Good evening, everyone, and welcome to SummerSlam, a virtual spoken word experience. My name is Rita Pierre, and I am the founder and CEO of Black Ivy Media, a digital platform that is dedicated to changing the narrative of the Black diaspora by raising awareness and challenging the status quo. So tonight we have an amazing event. We have a spoken word event. We have some amazing people who are going to express themselves. Some will express themselves through song, through spoken word, and there are a few that will be giving you guys some motivational speeches tonight. So a little bit about this event. We have been doing spoken word events, I would say, for the last couple of years. When I say we, I guess me, through different platforms and a variety of different collaborations. Spoken word and poetry is really important to the core of the brand, because I think through poetry, through spoken word, a lot of messages are shared. And so tonight we are hoping to inspire and to motivate you all through the spoken word that's going to be shared tonight, through the motivational speaking, and also through song. So we really hope that you guys enjoy it. Please, at this time, we ask that you share the live, whether it be through YouTube or Facebook Live. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We have a really great lineup tonight. So normally I don't always share pieces, because I like to let the program be the program, but I have received criticism from some of you all that say, where's your piece? How come you're not sharing anything? You always do these things and you rarely ever share. So tonight, I'm going to start off the program with something that I wrote a few years ago. According to my, online notebook, it says sometime in 2019. And I think at the time that I wrote this piece, it was, I don't know what I was going through, but clearly I was on the train. And I think I was just making observations. And so this is not necessarily a traditional, this is not a poem. I call it words of self-expression. I tend to have a lot of those. So we're going to go ahead and I'll kick off the programming tonight by sharing these words of self-expression. So it goes. You can be happy and ungrateful at the same time. I came to this realization as I was sitting on the train, reflecting on how unhappy I am. At the moment, I would say that I'm unhappy with 90% of my life. I know that's shocking, right? To the world, really social media, I appear to be at the top of my game, making moves, living my best life, all of that. Well, I am not at the top of my game. I am not living my best life. I am not making the moves that I would like to make. In fact, I don't even know what direction I'm moving in. I'm a bit of a mess, a well put together, well packaged, contained mess. I've been unhappy for most of my life, so I know how to deal with it. I know how to move and exist in unhappiness. Am I fine with that? No, but sometimes it is what it is until it isn't. I'm still waiting for the isn't. Even in the midst of my unhappiness, I am grateful. Some would find this to be ironic and impossible, but it is possible. I'm grateful that I wake up every morning. I'm grateful for my life experiences, both good and bad. I'm grateful to have a job that pays my bills. I'm grateful that I'm somewhat healthy. I'm grateful to have all of my cognitive faculties, for all of my working senses. I'm grateful for human interaction. I am truly grateful. But being grateful does not take away my feelings of unhappiness. It's not the antidote to my issues. I'm unhappy, yet I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that one day I will no longer live in a state of unhappiness. I'm hopeful that all of my hard work will land me just where I need to be. I'm hopeful that things will change for the better. But being hopeful doesn't heal the wounds. Being hopeful doesn't make the pain go away. And being hopeful doesn't make you happy. For now, my focus is to push forward. It's not fun feeling unhappy, but that's what I am at the moment. My focus is to not find ways to make myself happy. It's to continue being grateful for what I have now, and to be hopeful that my efforts will one day land me where I need to be. So this is something, again, like I said, I wrote 2 years ago. Not sure what I was going through, but I thought it was important because I find that sometimes people, they struggle in their state of unhappiness, but the way that they struggle within it is more so like they're trying to find things to kind of make them happy, but they don't really understand what the source of the unhappiness is. And I think that it is possible that you can be unhappy and acknowledge that you're unhappy, but still be grateful for the things that are around you and still have this hope that, one day things are going to get better. Like, I can be unhappy now, but I still have the hope that things are going to change. And I think that's important, especially, with us going through this pandemic. There's so many, things that occurred, so many disappointments. And a lot of us are genuinely in a state of unhappiness, but we do have this hope that things are going to change. And so I just wanted to share that because I had conversations with people, and this has kind of been like a topic. Like, they don't know if it's okay to be grateful and unhappy at the same time. And so for me, I think that it is. So hopefully that resonated with somebody. So to start off the event tonight, in terms of the spoken word form, I'm going to hopefully not butcher this name. It is Nduna Maduna. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being part of this event tonight. Guys, I've never met him in my life. And, he saw the post and he reached out. And this is what we're talking about: community coming together for self expression. So, Induna, I am so happy that you're with us tonight. And I look forward to hearing your spoken word piece.
Thank you. Like, I'm really grateful because like I'm so far and it's cold. I'm in South Africa and it's like
Oh,
2 a.m.
wow.
It's so cold out here. It's like
Well, thank you
it's
so
winter.
much.
So
South Africa. So the time difference is crazy right now.
yeah.
Well, I'm very grateful
Super
to
grateful.
you.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay,
for the opportunity.
you're welcome.
My piece, it's called Freedom Fighter. It goes, we wrote our feelings on the wall. Now they liking and poking at us like we animals. How the youth gon' walk tall whilst you're breaking them down with subliminals. 140 character criminals. Words venomous. News titanous. Shoulda listened to mama when she said stay off those socials cause they dangerous. Foreign hormones in my food. They ate my brain and told me to stay hood. But I stayed in books. Now I can finally put table under plate and food on top of plate. Told mama we finally gonna eat now. Soul food the main cause of diabetes now. Is it that all they go to war for? Like taxi cabs, knows no corona, we said 4-4. You feel a mask is useless, yet you cough that ignorance in my face. Still carrying that hate. Fourth grade teacher told you you were useless. You carry a knife, but your tongue is your gun. Teaching young boys hate of how you fought for freedom. Peace is the fuel to your hunger to educate about the peace you know. It says to take is to liberate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Induna. We look forward to hearing more of your work for the rest of the evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Shierma Fortune. Shierma, I'm happy to bring you to the stage. Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, there
Thank
we
you.
go. There we go. Yes. So Shierma, also an individual that I've never met before, but had reached out to, and she was just so grateful to be part of this platform today. And so Shierma, if you could just tell us a little bit about where you're from and who you are.
Sure. So I am from the DMV. I live in Maryland, born and raised, and I have been doing spoken word for probably about 10 years now. It's really just started out as a hobby, just journaling, and I think I saw my first spoken word probably around 2010. I was late to the game, but once I saw it, I just knew that it was something that I had to do, and it's been a vehicle, I think, for just self expression and for change, even in my own life. So I love it.
All right. Thank you so much. And so, everyone, Shierma.
So this poem is entitled Black Boy Magic, and I wrote it because I wanted to write something to encourage my brothers. And it's funny because my older brother, when I first started spoken word, he didn't really get it. So so he didn't come to my shows until later. But I wanted to write something to encourage him, but also to encourage my community. And hopefully, if you're watching or if if there's men in your life, that you can also take this as a reminder to encourage them, because everybody needs encouragement and affirmation. This is entitled Black Boy Magic. You've got that black boy magic, that wish they had it, that take on the world all by yourself. They don't understand how all your melanin makes you strong. You're not alone. Rise up, sons of the Son of God. Too many brothers behind bars, too many unnamed stars to count, so sight see yourself beyond a dollar. And tell Bill to stop acting like it own us. In fact, dude owes us. IOUs don't add up. Black bodies treated like they tax deductible property. Well, God is landlord and he charges rent. His eviction is like rapture. They thought they solved us, but now they see you. Undying hope, rising like riot smoke. Black lives have always mattered, like hands up, sit in, silent boycott so loud they hear Martin's dream. I pray your strength. To David, every Goliath of fear that tells you that God isn't for you, God is beside you, God is behind you, God is above you, God is in you, God sees you, and God sent you to plow the fields of your identity and harvest royalty. Spit out the bitter seeds of hatred, enough bloodshed in the red seas of our ancestors. Black history is still being made, so reclaim your legacy. Black economic expansion starts in family, so wrap your seed in covenants and plant gardens with your last name in your future. From mugshots to Grammys, from systematic oppression to generational wealth, you got that black boy magic, that wish they had it, that take on the world all by yourself. They don't understand how all your melanin makes you strong. Black boy, black king, you never ever be alone. Thank you. So that was my first poem. And I see you guys in the comments. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate you. Um, and the second poem I want to do is entitled I Cut My Hair. And I'm not sure exactly, who's watching, who's partying with us tonight, but I think especially women of color, and I think women in general, cutting our hair our hair in itself, it's its own journey, right? Like we could probably write a whole book of poetry just about hair, and the journeys we've been on, from the creamy cack relaxer to going natural to going to anything else and everything in between. And so in 2017, I cut my hair for the first time, all the way off, like all the way. And it was an aesthetic choice, but honestly, it really had to do with the season I was in and just wanting to make a shift. And I wanted that shift to not just be internal, I wanted it to be physical. And so I did it, and I think I cut it 7 more times after that, and it's growing back now. But it's a journey, and it was a season I was in, but I didn't want to forget the lessons that I learned. And so I wrote this poem to both commemorate that time in my life, and also to just continue to remind myself and to remind others that it's okay to move on. Like, it's okay to grow. It's okay to cut off relationships or situations that don't serve you. And it's okay to just want something different, want something new. So, again, this is entitled I Cut My Hair. I cut my hair. Piece to each strand that fell, this curl, that strand, grip, twist, snip. Letting doubts fall to floor, questions swept into dustpan, I left it there. I cut my hair. the responsibility to be pretty, to make beautiful. I'll just be beautiful right where I am, grow beautiful, cut away layers of does he like my hair this way or that? No more curly or straight, just hair on head, growing, glowing, giving me, us on the same page. See, we're changing. We can't go back the way we used to. I cut my hair. I don't miss your length, but I miss your energy. Familiar, curious, unsure. I want you back, but only when I can love you. Respect your texture. Stop judging your density. Wear your queen and be the crown. I won't rush what I can't control. Lessons learned in inches teach me new growth. Thank you so much. Please follow me at Jeremy Wright, and I'd love to connect with you. And again, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Both of those pieces were so powerful. I'm so happy that you were able to share them with us. And hopefully you'll be able to come back for a second time.
For sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And your platform is awesome. And I know it's going to continue to grow. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. And why can't I find you? Okay. This is weird. Okay. All right. Next, we have Lindo Yes. Hello, Mr. Lindo Yes. Oh, you're on mute still.
Hey, how you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
Just trying to clean up the mess I am, but I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. So for those of you who had tuned in the last time, Lindo Yes is back again with Black Ivy Media. So happy he was available and willing to be part of today's event. So Lindo, if you could just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and then you can get started.
I'm from Philly, Philadelphia. I don't claim PA. I have been on Def Poetry Jam, Button Poetry. I have toured up and down the East Coast. And yeah, I'm just a poet through and through. And I'm going to share one poem for y'all now, and then some more poems throughout the course of this program. This poem is called Skydive. And it deals with just like how you can grow with someone, but in that time of growing, you also grow apart, and recognizing that accountability in those actions that you have. Tears rolled down my eyes as I looked in the mirror for answers. You was looking for a way out. You was the type of woman I blow bubbles with on a windy day, chase satellites in the sky as we stole parts for our time machine, as we fought dragons with just water guns. But no matter how many times we time travel, may be past or future, it will always be present while you're leaving. And before you leave, love, before you leave, I want to French kiss your soul so my tongue can speak on its being. You being you being beautiful. You create caterpillars in my stomach until they butterfly. You always on flight. That means you stay fly. And I have never seen you at airports, but I know you skydive because you have fallen for people. I hope I fall for you. I hope you fall for me. But you worship the sky. And I'm too down to earth for you. But maybe my spaceship can land on your planet, because you are the world, and my world seems to revolve around you, but I hope I'm never out your orbit. You know, I got secrets to tell you. Well, that's a lie. Because the only space in between us is a space we have created. And I have created this you and I verse just to talk about you. Yes, just to talk about you. Because I love the conversation in my head, because even when I'm not thinking, you are a thought. You got the biggest part of me, which is my heart. I hope you never lose it, just in case I have kept the receipts. Just in case I need it back. You know, I have time traveled and seen our future and seen you leave me. When I need you back in our present, well, our joy is always, because I know in our future, our joy can be as faded as clothes that have been washing up too much. I need to stop time traveling, because I have watched you too many times leave me. Because you have skeletons in your closet. Well, don't worry. I have storage of baggage for me guilt tripping, but I can no longer afford that vacation. I've been on a pursuit of happiness, and I hope you're on a drive or a passenger seat side with me. And don't worry about the money. The money's in the backseat of our drive. The money will come soon. you would leave me. And I know you expected me to have some words to say because I'm a poet. The chains of forecast of the weather that we end. But in these moments, I am speechless. All I can do is reside in a storm and think about moments that we were close, that we hugged each other, and we told each other, I love you, and I remind you, and you hold me close as you hug me and tell me goodbye. I love you, goodbye. Because we can no longer be any more committed than we are. And I hope in another lifetime when you are a butterfly and I'm merely the wind, embracing the flapping of your wings, consoling your soul, to be the free spirit that you are, maybe then we can be more than we are. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that heartfelt. I kind of want to know the story behind that. I might have to hit you up on the side, but I definitely felt it. So thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. And I'll see you. I'll be back.
Yes. Linda
Right.
will be back. So you definitely don't want to miss what else he has to say.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we're going to move on to our motivational speaker. I wanted to kind of mix this up a little bit. We love to have our spoken word artists, but sometimes you guys also want, just straight words of encouragement. And this young man here, I'm calling you young, young man here. I've heard him speak. He's such a dynamic speaker, a powerful speaker. And so when I thought about putting together some motivational speakers for tonight, he was definitely one of the first that came to mind. So I'm going to be bringing up to the stage Mr. Drummond.
Hey. Oh, wow.
Hello, Mr. Drummond.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we hear you well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me come up on here. You're such an amazing adult person, so I'm just honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I want you to go ahead and tell everyone a little about who you are, where you're from, maybe what you do, and then you can go into motivating us.
Smooth. How you doing, everybody? So my first name is Dorian, but I go by Mr. Drummond if you look at my name. And I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up in Brooklyn, Long Island. And I'm a motivational speaker and a life coach. And I love helping people. I love inspiring people. And I'm going to just share you a quick little short piece, a little bit of my testimony. And what I do is I help people navigate life challenges by elevating their mind. And the title of my small speech for today is called The 3 Valuable Lessons That I Learned When I Was Homeless. Just to give you a quick little background about me, I was born with cocaine in my system. My mother was addicted to drugs. And due to that would be the reason why I was placed into foster care with 2 of my siblings. We bounced around, went through a lot of gruesome and very hard times as young kids. Eventually I was adopted. And in my adopted home, we kind of grew up in a very traumatic and mentally emotional, just mentally emotional abusive adopted home. So it was December of 2016. And I just remember that I was a recent college grad, and graduating from college, you don't automatically get into your major that quickly unless you got some connections or you had a really good internship. And I was just a regular college student just coming out of college. I had 2 regular jobs. I got my first car. I was building credit. I bought a MacBook and things as well. I had 2 jobs. I had a job from overnight, and then straight out of overnight, I would work a morning shift at another job. And, when I come home, my mom has to say, we need to talk. I know it's usually something serious. So I got home from work one day. This is about around Thanksgiving. And my mother had told me that she needed to talk to me. And she was pretty much letting me know that her and my father were going to be moving to Connecticut at the end of 2017. So if you just pay close attention to what I'm saying, she told me that first message around Thanksgiving. The thing about my adopted situation, my adopted parents adopted 6 of us. I'm the second youngest, just to give you a little background. So after Thanksgiving, about a week passed, my mother told me again when I came home from a shift that she needed to talk. And she was pretty much letting me know that the place that they were planning to move to at the end of 2017, that place is actually going to be ready by February of 2017. So, you know, from the first conversation to the second one, is like my anxiety is just building. And I'm just like, oh my God, like it went from a year to now a few months. Probably like 3 or 4 days after that second announcement, it was another conversation, and she was pretty much letting us know that they're going to be moving after Christmas. Now I'm wondering, what am I about to do? I don't have no money saved, and it's just like, yeah, I'm a recent college grad. Like, they wasn't going to take any of us to Connecticut, and it was pretty much I had to make a decision between either living in my car or living in a very toxic and tough situation that was not going to be best for me. And I learned 3 valuable lessons during this time period. So the first lesson that I learned was make the decision that's most uncomfortable. The reason why I say that is because when it comes to a really major life shift, whether it's going to a new state, whether it's even breaking up with somebody that you're comfortable with and you've been in a relationship for, you know, many, many years, whatever your situation is, go with the decision that's most uncomfortable, because that's the decision, you're going to grow the most with. And I chose to live in my car. I knew that even though it was going to be a lot harder, I know, you know, it was going to be a lot tougher for me. I knew in the long run it was going to be a lot better, because if I would have went with the other decision, I wasn't going to grow from that decision. The other decision was a lot more toxic. Even though that decision would have had a roof over my head, I knew it wasn't going to be best for me. So I chose living in my car. It was cold, man. If you know New York, especially in the East Coast weather, it is brick out here. So I was living in my car. At the time, I was working at a gym, so I'm showering in the gym. I'm sleeping in the hot yoga room, and in the times when they locked the back door, I'm sleeping in my car. I'm sleeping in different parking lots throughout Long Island. It was dangerous. A lot of depression, a lot of dark nights, but I kept pushing through. My second point is stop wearing clothes that don't fit you no more. So during that winter, fall season of 2016, I was going through 3 breakups. I was just getting out of a 3.5-year relationship with a girlfriend. I didn't realize at the time I was outgrowing my childhood friends, and I was going through a breakup with my family because when my parents moved, we all kind of split and went our own all directions. I didn't realize that a lot of people at that time in that season I was holding on to, they couldn't go to me. They couldn't go with me where God was trying to bring me. And it's the same thing with like clothes. If I don't know about y'all, but I know there's been times that I've bought sneakers that my feet don't fit in, or I have my favorite pair of jeans that I grew out of, and I will stuff myself in it. And it's the same way with relationships and friendships. You trying to force yourself into clothes that don't fit you no more. You're gonna be uncomfortable. It may rip, and it never works out. You have to donate it. And I at the time it was so hard for me what I was going through with my friends, because I'm thinking we gonna be friends for the rest of our lives. I knew them since 2nd or 3rd grade, and I just remember when I was living in my car. At that moment in time, we wasn't really talking that much. It was a lot of awkwardness in me and my boy's relationship, and I'm just pulled up this public storage. I'm putting my clothes in there, and they had called me, and I haven't probably talked to them in a few weeks. And they called me just letting me know, like, hey, we appreciate you. We love you, man. And we haven't talked to you in a while. We just want to let you know that, you know, we care about you. What's up? Where you been? And I'm like, I'm at public storage. And they're like, why are you at public storage? And I'm like, I needed a place to put my stuff at. And they was pretty much asking me about what was going on with the house situation, because they had a little bit of information. And I pretty much told them that it didn't work out. So they said, where you been living at? And I said, I've been sleeping in my car. And at that moment, they were like, oh, wow, like, we didn't know you was living in your car. We'll check for apartments that are up for rental, and we'll get back to you. Now, at that moment in time, I'm in one of my deepest, darkest depressions. And I'm not saying they had to extend their couch or house to me, but at that moment in time, I knew that there wasn't my friends no more. So this is why I say, like, stop trying to wear clothes that don't fit you no more. When you outgrow certain things, you got to just trust your process and continue to move forward. Don't force nobody to be in your life. That's my second lesson. And my third lesson was, if you do a little, God will do a lot. I'm sleeping in my car, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going to live at. I'm looking at apartments in Long Island, and it's like they want 2 months of rent, and I'm like, dang, like studios are like 1,000, and I just don't know how and what I'm going to do. And at the time, one of the jobs I was working for, I was doing physical therapy for an elderly man. Now, this man happened to be the father of a teacher at my old high school. It started to get to a point that I started getting late to the job. And, with that job, the mother didn't, the daughter didn't want her father to be left alone too long by himself. So about 2-3 weeks, I was getting there kind of late, and she started to notice. So one time, she stayed at the crib, and she was asking me where I was at, and I'm be honest, I lied to her, let her know that I was about a few minutes away when that wasn't the case. So when I eventually got there, she flipped out on me, and she was about to let me go. And at that moment in time, I broke down to her and just told her that my situation. I finally let my pride go, and I told her I was living in my car, and it's been hard trying to maneuver and shower and bounce back and forth. Long story short, word got back to my old guidance counselor, and his name is Wayne Bennis. This man was a guidance counselor for me in 3rd grade, and then he was my guidance counselor in high school. Mr. Wayne Bennis called me in his office a few weeks later, and it was just so random. And he just closed his door, and he was crying, and I never seen this man cry before. And he just flipped out on me, cursed me out, flipped out on me, and he was just mad that I didn't speak up and I didn't tell nobody. And I'll be honest, at that time, I'm going through a breakup with my ex. I'm going through a breakup with my family. I'm going through a breakup with my friends. I didn't really think who's going to care if the people closest to me didn't care, or the people closest to me, things wasn't working out. And after that meeting with Wayne in his office, about a week later, he told me to come to this address in Brentwood. And he brought me to this place. He showed me this big basement apartment, and he was like, I'll give you this whole place to you for $1,000, everything included. Just give me some time to clean it up. And this is actually the place that I'm sitting in right now. The reason why I say if you do a little, God would do a lot. In that moment of trials and tribulations, in that moment that I could have, went left, probably decided to do some dumb things to get money, or I could have just been moping around, been depressed. God saw that I was just trying to do something, and I kept praying every night, man, like seriously. So I just shared my part of my testimony, my message with you guys, that we all have things that we're dealing with deep down inside that people don't know about. We all have things that we may be prideful, or we may be scared to open up to and ask for help, or to vent to somebody. And I'm just here to encourage you to keep going. Whatever situation you could be currently in, or whatever situation you currently got out of that, I feel you, and I respect you. And just remember that you have a gift, and you have a light in this world that people need to see. And every day that you have breath in your lungs, just know that God needs you, that this world still needs you, and just to keep striving, to keep pushing forward. So those are 3 valuable lessons that I learned when I was homeless. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Drummond, I'm just going to call you by your first name, Dorian, for sharing, for being so vulnerable, right? Because this is a vulnerable situation that you went through. And a lot of times people are not ready to let others into, their experiences. And some people would either feel ashamed and would just feel some type of way about sharing this to complete strangers. But I truly believe that, somebody got something from what you said today, because it is such a powerful story of resilience. And although as Black people, I think, we're resilient, I guess, just by nature, but I think that, you being, a young person, being in your situation, just coming forward and just talking about your truth, right? The real life experiences, the things that you had to endure, I think is amazing. So I thank you so much for just opening up and sharing your truth with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. And so next we have Miss Kyla Bryce. Miss Kyla Bryce, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So Kyla is in high school. I'm going to let her introduce herself, but I'm so proud of Kyla. She's one of my children, as I like to call her. But Kyla, if you can just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you do, promote your brand. I know you have a little brand, and then you can get right into your spoken word piece.
So my name is Kyla. I'm 16, going on 17 in August. As Rita said, I am a small business owner. My business name is K Galore. You can find it at kgalore.shop on Instagram. Okay, but for the poem, I started writing poems about at the age of 7. There was a blackout. I was bored, no electricity, so there's nothing to do. So I decided to write a poem, and I fell in love with poetry since. So this poem I wrote is called Sincerely from the Blacks. Black people, just about the strongest people there are. We wake up every morning ready to fight just because they're. Sorry, I'll start over. Black people, just about the strongest people there are. We wake up every morning ready to fight just because we're darker than they are. It's not our fault the melanin is popping and we have no reason to be photoshopping. But don't use that as an excuse to send our black brothers and sisters bodies shopping. My people have come a long way, and I think it's fair to say. Just because your skin lighter than mine don't make you better than me. Just because your hair shorter than mine don't make you better than me. And because you... I'm sorry, guys. I've been messing up all day. Today has been such a hectic day. I practice. I'm sorry. One more time. I got it this time. Black people, just about the strongest people there are. We wake up every morning ready to fight just because we're darker than they are. It's not our fault the melanin is popping and we have no reason to be photoshopping. But don't use that as an excuse to send our black brothers and sisters bodies shopping. My people have come a long way, and I think it's fair to say. Just because your hair's shorter than mine don't make you better than me. Becky girl, don't be hating because you're not thicker than me. Because your skin lighter than mine don't make you more of a treasure than me. Just because we have more of a tan complexion don't mean we did the crime. So why are you forcing our wrongly convicted to do 7 years time? Does it make your streets feel safer? Because you know good and well you ain't rape her. You love to see my people on fields, whether it's football or plantation. But we know your all-time favorite to see me is that police station. You hate to see us winning in life, but it's our time to overcome all the misery and strife. With all the curves and fat in the right place, I know that makes you completely hate the black race. But it ain't no real competition, because hey, what can I do? That's just my composition. Whether I'm Jamaican, Haitian, Grenadian, Bayesian, Bahamian, or Blasian, y'all hate my skin. Because there's power behind the black person, a power that was built in. Because it doesn't matter what's on the outside, it matters what's within. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kyla. If I can give you a round of applause, I would. But, we have our people in the chat that are putting the round of applause for you. Again, such a young woman who, started off with her entrepreneurial journey not too long ago. Spoken word artist. A lot of times you don't find young people who have the courage, right, to come before people that they don't know and perform. So we want to definitely commend you for that. Continue moving forward, continue doing what you need to do, continue being great. Okay, Kai?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so moving along with the program, I am going to bring up to the stage Shensi Augustin. Shensi, I know I saw you in here. All right. Hello, Shensi. How are you? You're on mute.
Pretty good.
Thank you again for coming on board and being part of this event today.
My pleasure.
All right. So I'm going to have you just start off by saying, a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then you can go right on into your spoken word piece.
All right, sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So my name is Shensi Augustine, and I am a realtor, but I also work in the jails. And what else do I do? I'm also an urban planner. And an urban planner basically designs communities or inspires or create some type of policies that around the design of communities and their makeup. I'm also part of a nonprofit organization called Ede Youth, where we answer the question, how do we raise tomorrow's leaders today? And we provide all kinds of programs to young people between the ages of 13 to 21, both vocational and workshops to help them to understand how to just get to the next level and also to maximize on their leadership potential. So this piece I'm going to be performing for you today was something that I created for a conference that I was part of last year, a conference that's looking at oversight. in looking at the things that were happening within law enforcement, within our Black communities, and within the jails. And basically, this organization exists to bring all those oversight bodies together to have discussions about best practices. So the name of that organization is called NACOL. So they asked me to do this, and so that's what I will be sharing with all of you today. Oversight, oversight, oversight. Over a website, we get insight to further insight the public foresight. Conversations about degradation around systems created by mindsets that no longer fit them. The power of the voice, the power of the choice, the power of let me hear you make some noise. Breonna Taylor. I couldn't breathe. Eric Garner. The reason we exist as a collective is not objective, but subjective toward the objection of maladies experienced by communities without reciprocity. Haitians have a saying, and I know because I'm Haitian. Me en pile, chai palou. Many hands make the load lighter. Together we shine brighter. We put our hands to the plow, sweat beating our brows. From New York to New Orleans, from Cali to DC, our work changes policy. So the next time you face adversity, know that there is a place where you will find congruency, right here. Your voice is valuable. Your work is sensitive, and your presence is vital. It's time to stand up. It's time to speak out. It's time to say the things that was on your mind that made you want to shout. Oversight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shensi, for that powerful piece. I didn't know you had it in you. This is I've met Shensi on few occasions, but I think I've heard your voice more so that I've actually interacted with you. And when you told me you did spoken word, I was like, really? I would never know. I would never know, because there's this like persona, right, that people tend to carry. But thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're in real estate, so you are busy, busy, busy. But I'm happy that you took the time to be part of this program today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
When you brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in there. Like, Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So now I am going to bring on a singer, a young woman again by the name of Sephora Desalmes. Sephora, are you ready, Sephora?
I'm ready.
There we go. So some of us, we express, our thoughts and our pain and our desires and whatever it is through spoken words, some through motivational speech. But today we actually have a young woman who's going to sing for us. She's an amazing singer. She goes to my church. She's also one of my church kids. Again, young woman, doing what she needs to do in the community, and just being active and fierce. Sephora is a very fierce young woman. So Sephora, if you could just tell people a little about who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then you can go on into your piece.
So this upcoming fall, I will be a senior. I'm 17, and I'm just trying to do the best that I can, especially going through a time such as this. I'm just trying to, reach out to my friends and just to encourage people. So I hope you enjoy my song. She just wants to be beautiful. She goes unnoticed. She knows no limit. She craves attention. She praises an image. She prays to be sculpted by the sculptor. Oh, she don't see the light that's shining deeper than the eyes can find it. Maybe we have made her blind, so she tries to cover up her pain and cut her woes away. 'Cause covered girls don't cry after the face is made. But there's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing, the world can change its heart. We're stars and we're beautiful, we're stars and we're beautiful. Oh. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars, see you're beautiful, the stars and we're beautiful. She has dreams to be an envy, so she starving, you know, covered girls eat nothing, she says. Beauty is pain, there's beauty in everything. What's a little bit of hunger? I can go a little while longer. She fades away, she don't see her perfect, she don't understand. She is worth it, all that beauty goes deeper than the surface. Oh, whoa. And to all the girls that's hurting, let me be your mirror, help you see a little bit clearer. The light that shines within, there's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No stars, see you're beautiful, with stars and we're beautiful. Oh. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars, see you're beautiful, with stars and we're beautiful. Nobody you than you that you are. No better life than the life we live in. No better time for you shine, you're a star. Oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're beautiful. There's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars, see you're beautiful, with stars and we're beautiful. Oh. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars, see you're beautiful, with stars and we're beautiful.
Thank you so much, Sephora. Your voice is so lovely.
Thank you.
And again, being in high school, just trying to deal with the pandemic and everything going on, just wanted to thank you for taking the time to be here tonight and to, just lend your voice to this event.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. And so next we have another poet who I again have never met before, but we had been in communications with the last event, the Unblurred Lines event that we had for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I reached out to her again, and she was just more than happy to be part of this event and to lend her voice. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Nettie Long Poetry. Hello, Nettie. Oh, you're on mute. I see that you're on mute.
So sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay. We all do it. But we want to thank you for being here tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And I wanted you to just take some time to just tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nettie Long Poetry. I've been writing poetry for the last 8 years. I've been performing poetry for the last 3 years. It's been a journey. I am an emotional writer. I write based on my emotions. So a lot of my poems are very provoking and also very relatable with hurts, pains. I am an advocate for sexual childhood trauma victims and also domestic violence victims. I have a support group page on Facebook called "They Took My Choice Away," and that is a group that supports both sexual trauma victims and also domestic violence victims. And I tend to think that they kind of run both in the same. You become traumatized as a child, whether it's sexual, whether it's abusive, and then when you don't get healed, and now we're adults, we kind of follow in that same footprint of being in toxic relationships. So that is my platform. I'm there to provide a support service for adults, because we don't we don't take our mental health serious enough to think that it's the most important thing that we have to keep us at a bay, and to be able to function and love unconditionally, and also be able to love and be able to receive love. A lot of people have a hard time receiving love. So that's what that support group is for. So follow me on there. And I'm on all social media platforms as Nettie Long Poetry or Nettie Long. The piece that I would like to perform today is about my childhood and my trauma. And it's called Deep Within. Life as a child, it seemed unfair. And to be 3 and to endure sexual abuse at the hands of my predator left me wondering, why were these things happening to me? But then again, I also felt I wasn't being hurt in a way that seemed violent to me. Oftentimes, when I think back, I didn't complain to anyone simply for the mere fact that in some twisted way, I felt some pleasure in it. It was always soft touches. The penetration came from the soft fingertips of my cousin, whom I loved so much. She made me feel special in a way I can't even begin to explain, but this thing she was doing to me was our very own little secret. And I kept that secret till I was 6. And then the lack of touching made me feel sick and unusual, twisted pain that can only be described as needing to release this flood that had been building up within. And to be 6 and confused and didn't know what to do, nor could I articulate the feelings that were messing with my head. And in strange ways, I thought to myself, how do I get that sensation again? But nothing quite did the trick. And growing up seemed to build a bigger desire for wanting it. I was left with the hand to no fault of my own and agony with the very thing that would cause such dissatisfaction in my love life. And it didn't matter the countless efforts that tried to hold on to the wrong guy that had the right touch to ease the pains ever so gently. Feeling the right touch was nearly everything. The precise penetration, the trust to be fulfilled sensually is everything. Frustration, a feeling that I would often feel when my lover couldn't unlock the level it took to release this long overdue flood that's buried deep within. You see, I'd had lovers walk away, none would stay, because it was messing with their ego in a way they wouldn't explain. So I thought being called a nympho was a compliment, that it meant I had an enormous amount of stamina, that I can go on and on for hours and never grow tired. But let me just tell you this. I ain't never asked for this. Never. That's my piece.
Thank you so much, Nettie. That was powerful. And again, I love the transparency and I love the vulnerability that comes with spoken word. And I know that, you've been an activist in, childhood sexual trauma. But I think, just listening to what you just described as your childhood, I think so many people can relate to this. And there's not a lot of people sharing their experiences, right?
Not in detail.
Yeah, not
because
in
it
detail.
makes them feel dirty. It makes people feel dirty, and they can't even believe that they even conjure up these thoughts. But it's a very natural thing that a child goes through, and they don't have no way of understanding what that is. Or I did countless things to try to mimic when it stopped, when sexual abuse stopped for me, because
Mm-hmm.
it became, because it was years, so it became a necessity, and a lot of people won't talk about that. They won't
Yeah.
talk about the little triggers that I had even growing up. You know what I mean? And how it opened up for other things. It was a gateway for other things. Pornography at a tender age of 10. You know what I mean? Like watching videos of stuff that we were just being very curious of and acting those things out. So we have to be very cautious about children, because I also, we talk about, for the platform that I have, we talk about all these details, but we also have to make our parents accountable, because we
Yeah.
can't have children and think that they, are not going to get into things, because they do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No. And I commend the work that you do. I really do. And hopefully we'll be able to support you in the efforts to really raise this type of awareness, right? And change the narrative.
Yes.
Yes.
Education
Okay.
starts at home.
It definitely does. It definitely does. Thank you so much again,
Thank you
Nettie.
for having me.
You're
And
welcome.
to meet you finally.
Yes, finally, right? Finally. And we'll definitely be in contact after this.
I'd love it. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Bye. Okay, so we're going to move right along. Before we get to our next motivational speaker, we're going to hear from one more spoken word artist, and I'm going to bring up Nduna Maduna again.
Okay, my next piece is called Black Lives Matter. Black is not a euphemism for human. I too am human. I'm not a substitute for what should be, but I am human. Mr. Mandela paved the road of peacefulness. I'm just trying to restore the potholes. Black, white, those are not even the true colors of our skins. Shouldn't it be humanity engraved on our shins? Guarding our weak feet from propaganda. We're not puppets anymore. Take off your balaclavas. It doesn't take a man in an afro high walking in sandals to come and tell us Black Lives Matter. I also have a second piece about women abuse. It's called Gender-Based Violence. He is meek and kind in public, loves Mother Nature, adores Mama Africa, but behind closed doors, he's a gorilla, even beats his chest while screaming, I'm the head of this house. His mother is nothing to him, not even a limb to the body he's the head of. The head of this house has a brain that's replaced the wife of this house with a punching bag. As he punches his anger away, her pride bleeds away. He was tired of pretending. The whole day he was meek and kind, even humble to the boss. He's more qualified than bows his head, puts his pride in his pocket. I hate my life. I hate my wife who stayed for the kids that never left her womb. She knows all their names, but has never seen their faces. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nduna. And everyone, Nduna is coming to us live from South Africa. So
Yes.
the temperature is off, you said, the time frame is off, but he's here with us today from literally clear across the world. And this is what I love about these virtual platforms. So thank you so much, Nduna, for I guess staying up late just to be part of this event.
Thanks for having me. I love poetry as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. And so now I'm going to bring up Spencer Strange, who has been part of our last event, actually. That's how I met Spencer, through our Unblurred Lines Sexual Assault Awareness Month event. And I reached out to Spencer, and again, he was more than happy to be part of today's event. And so we are happy to have you here, Spencer. Thank you for being available for us this evening.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back. I lit up when you messaged me. I saw your post first, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope she asks me. So thank you. This is great.
You're
To
welcome.
everyone that before me, you guys are doing great. It's so inspiring, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of this. So I have been thinking a lot about some of the things that can slow me down at times. And this year has brought a lot of loss in my life. And, when I saw this event come up, I thought, well, what's a good topic to share on? And I had talked to some friends, and they were like, well, what do you need to talk about? Like, what do you need to share that you think others can hear about? And I was like, okay. And that got me thinking. And going into loss, the words belonging and abandonment came up, and like someone shared previously about adoption, that all kind of tied into that, the rooted emotions and feelings that I have when these things happen in my life. So these past couple months, one thing has really been weighing on me, and it was the difference. The differences I've experienced with the new losses of friends I've had. The end of these relationships came with like the distance from communication, the care, and the desire to speak with me. Um, and here's a letter that I thought might have helped me have some closure on this topic. It goes, Dear friends, I know I was lacking being present during our friendship, but while I was struggling, I assumed you guys would be the people to pick me back up. Most days I couldn't climb out of my own thoughts on my own. I thought long and hard with my heart what would be best in the ways to approach you. I like to think I can be someone that can see my own faults and do the best to make amends. It came to the day where I had the courage to bring this up to you. Me. Even though I knew there was an issue, I still did it. Would you actually care enough to have a friend who sees their faults and wants to make things better? These questions raced through my mind constantly. This past year was one that threw challenges at each of us in many different ways. We were overseas, away from our family and friends, in a strict lockdown. This time wasn't easy, and I know that for each and every one of us, it wasn't. I wish I could really know what we were all dealing with at the time. During our conversation, I wanted to focus on the solution and not allow you to rehash all the things that I did. I had hoped to maybe get some understanding where I was coming from, but I also understand that some of my things are things I can't expect everyone to understand. In my defense, I am not perfect. I never claimed to be. I had learned a lot, and through that, I had encountered some steps that I had discovered in my gut going through this process. One was knowing where my faults were and understanding how they might hurt others. Two, holding myself accountable. Coming up with the courage to bring up ownership is hard, and this across the board. And that was one thing I knew I needed to do. Three was apologize and ask for feedback, which was probably the worst part of it. But I knew if I didn't do those three things, I would have no chance in keeping these friends in my life. I thought, how do you convince someone to see the things without telling and showing them these things? Well, for me, writing these things out, putting it pen to paper had always helped before. So here I am again. I did these things multiple times. I believed it was a perspective that everyone, even you, should consider. I trusted my gut, and with the help of my friends, I knew I needed to accept that I had done everything in my power to keep this going. Then, after accepting, I did what was best for me, which was walking away. Unfortunately, I'm still the enemy in your eyes. I simply can't have people like this in my life anymore, nor the ones who follow suit behind those who stand firm in pointing fingers and holding grudges. This passive behavior has caused me trauma and grief in my past, and I will not allow it anymore. Still to this day, 3 months going, I still feel a lot from the last conversation we truly had. It was ugly. It broke my heart to see the hurt in the room. But most importantly, I lack the forgiveness to see the empathy that could have carried on afterwards. It made me think that what was the point of carrying on these friendships when there was really no love? It felt like I was being put up with, and that's a feeling no one should ever feel. That feeling worse than being told that I was nothing and that it was my fault. You may have felt like you were doing the right thing by being supportive, but it wasn't. So this could have ended differently, and I've said my piece. I don't need to go on, and I hope that you can recall that evening just as clearly as I can. Sincerely, Spencer. So that was long, so thank you for bearing with me. But this all kind of came up with accepting a lot of the things that friendships give you. And I hear a lot about breakups and divorces and stuff like that, but I don't think people talk enough about losing friends. And when I used to chase feeling connected and getting a group and feeling that I was worthy and finding those validations within people. And when you know all of that for so long and then it's ripped away from you for reasons that don't seem to be valid, it sucks and it's horrible. And I know each and every one of us have probably dealt with this or are dealing with it currently. Just know you're not alone. I am a firm believer in second and third chances. I think if you are one to look in the mirror hard and long and have these tough conversations, which teaches patience and trust, and then you deserve it. And that person actually cares about you. And I think that's the one thing that I'm dealing with the most is knowing that I think I was that person, and no matter what I do, I still might never be for them. So yeah, that's it. Thank you again. This is a great platform, and I love doing this. Gives me my power back, and something that has really been weighing me down a lot lately. And so thank you guys.
And thank you, Spencer. Every time that we have you on here, I feel like, the people in the comments, they're saying how much this resonated to them. I feel like, people are able to relate to you each and every time that you speak. So I want to encourage you to continue to speak, continue to share your truth, continue to, be a motivational speaker, which is what you are, right? As you're sharing your story. So, we love having you here on this platform. And, as long as we keep having these types of events, we'll definitely be reaching out to have you come and motivate the audience. And for the people who are going to be watching this afterwards, because that tends to be the case, right? Everyone's busy, but they do watch. Yep. They're gonna also be motivated from what you're saying. So, I just want to commend you for being brave each and every time.
Thank you so much. This is such an honor. So thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to bring back to the stage Lindo. Yes, Lindo, are we ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. All right.
I'm gonna perform a poem for y'all called Colors. And in this poem I talk about police brutality and I mention a specific name. Even though I talk about that name, there have been so many names that come to mind when I perform this piece. So I would like for y'all to just be in that mindset as I perform. I'm grateful every morning I don't wake up a hashtag. A trending topic of tragedy, a black and brown body outlining white, red blood watering concrete because of shades of blue. White lies are finding how black lives matter, my God. There's a war on colors. Ever since we've been coloring and coloring books, they've been booking colors and books of obituaries. You should be worried. Because even those that survive lose years of their life in beige and gray boxes with no windows. When they come out, you can barely see the souls through their windows. They look lost. I've lost myself in tears. Found myself here crying. Because I haven't yet grieved over Trayvon. He looked so much like me when I saw him. I thought I died. Became a hashtag in the morning. A trending topic of tragedy. A black and brown body outlined in white, red blood watering concrete because of shades of blue. White lies are finding how black lives matter, my God. Let's raise sons like morning. Too many sons we mourning, too many raisins on the sun, too many raisins on the sun. Let's raise sons like morning, my God. Please don't let me be a hashtag in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindo. And so I know we have you for one more, but before we get to that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up this next young woman by the name of Potent Killer Core. Hello there, Killer Core. You're on mute.
Okay, there we go.
Yes,
Hi,
yes,
everyone.
yes.
How you doing? You can hear
Doing
me?
well, doing well. Yes, we can hear you.
All right, awesome, awesome. Great job, everybody that has went on so far. So yes, the business brand is called Kill Her Core. So core being the most essential part of everything, a most essential part of anything. If you don't have a core, if anything doesn't have a core, it doesn't have a structure, doesn't have a foundation. So pretty much like my life journey just happened to be based around core. In about, well, I started my journey in 2017. I started off as a personal trainer, but there were things that happened prior to that that I had to get over. But more so, I was helping my community before I actually got over what I was going through. So helping my community as far as personal training, helping my community as far as mental health events, as helping people, whether it was physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, just being a whole holistic guider. Now in 2000, well, I could backtrack because in 2017, I realized how many people that I was helping in my community. And I know that I had a story of my own that I never shared with anybody. So in 2014, I lost my dad to suicide. And it took me 4 years to actually come out and speak about it. So from 2014 to 2018, I made that my New Year's resolution to be more vocal about suicide, about what's going on in our community. And of course, it was around that time, it was even mental health was something that was never spoken about. It was taboo. And realizing how many people I was helping my community, it didn't make any sense that I was holding back my own story. So I came out with my documentary on YouTube. It's called A Potent Life After Death. And pretty much it just explains what I went through and how I was able to overcome it. The bond that me and my father shared was just always working out together. And that was one thing that helped me throughout that time. I just kept on working out. The relationship between fitness and your mental health. I always say that your physical health is just as important as your mental health. A lot of people just focus on aesthetics, but not really realizing that if you clean yourself internally, if you clean yourself mentally, everything else will fall into place. So even with a lot of my clients that were coming to me, they were more so on a physical level of, yeah, they want to lose weight. But once I started to realize that most of the sessions were therapy sessions. They would come, they would talk to me, and we would just talk about life, just talk about anything. Then the whole concept of them wanting to lose weight was just out the window. So even literally, there were some of my clients that I told them, I said, you don't need a personal trainer. You don't need me. You need to go see a therapist. And even with that being said, they were grateful of that because, again, we don't realize sometimes a lot of things that we think that we do need, someone on the outside is going to be able to tell you, like, listen, this is not the journey. This is not the path that you should be going on. This is more, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. So that was that. And now this is what in 2021, this is what helped me start my business. This is what helped me start my brand. But also, I had my own health scare in 2018 to 2019. I had my own health scare where I was just in and out of the hospital. Doctors didn't have any answers for me. They said everything was fine. They didn't see anything that was wrong. Now, I always had a healthy diet, but there was something still in my diet that just wasn't working for me. So I just had to figure it out. So just more so tapping into, again, the holistic living of speaking to more health gurus about natural products and even stuff with my hair. So that's one of the reasons why I cut my hair as well, because I had color in my hair at one point. And again, like the young lady spoke about earlier, misfortune, when you cut your hair, the power and the strength that you get from that. So a lot of times, of course, everyone thinks, oh yeah, you do it for because it's a relationship, something going on with a guy or something, but it's not. When you want to be rebirthed, when you want to rebrand yourself, when you want to become someone else, when you want to start a new journey, this is something that helped me cope with that journey as well. So between the loss of my father and between my own health scare, that's what made me do that. But also, the health scare. So removing the meat products, the dairy products, fasting, all of those things are the actual healers that a lot of people don't believe in. A lot of people don't do, because if someone will tell you that you have to fast, and literally, because I did a water fast, I did a 3-day water fast. Originally, when I started my holistic journey, I did a 3-day water fast with just no food. It was just straight water. And if you would tell somebody to do that, a lot of people won't have the discipline to do it. But do you want to get better? Or do you want to just be like, hey, we're all going to die someday? But my choice and what I want to bring to my community is the awareness of the foods that we eat as well. That has effects on our mental health. It has effects on the mental health of our children. A lot of kids are getting clinically diagnosed with behavior disorders, ADHD, and all this type of stuff. But is it really that, or is it what's in their foods, with the processed foods that they're eating? So this is pretty much the core of my business, the core of my brand: your mental health, your physical health, socially, economically, just everything as a community, and as, again, just being African American. Like, we have to take these things seriously, because as we've seen with this whole shutdown, with this whole COVID, we've seen the pattern of a lot of people in our culture, unfortunately, transitioning. Is because of underlying health issues that were there. But again, it's just for more so awareness, and just give it a try. And you just have to be disciplined with it, because if it took 20, 30 years to get to a certain level, as far as like having an ailment, if it took all these years and then you're diagnosed with an ailment or a disease, you got to understand, it's not going to take one day, 1 week. Literally, it took me a year to come off the dairy, come off the meat, come off the seafood, and it took me a long time. Now I've gained the discipline. And I just want to share that with everybody else. We're not perfect. We're not here to be perfect. But what I say, the operation kill the pill, because doctors, that's all they know, is to give you a pill, is to offer surgery. But the real healing is like what we're doing now. This is healing. The real healing is fasting, giving your body a break. Just like you turn off your light, you turn off the TV, everything needs a break. Your system needs a break as well. All right. So this is what CORE is about. Everything having a foundation, having a structure. This is CORE right here as well. Thank you guys for listening. And I'll see what else we have going on. You can follow me on Instagram. It's @KillHerCore, just like the shirt says as well. Later, y'all.
Thank you so much, Potent @KillHerCore. Thank you for those words. I think a lot of people, I see some comments in the comment section, just talking about how powerful these words are. I think a lot of times we do neglect, our health, both mental health and physical health. And sometimes when we hear fasting, there's so many things around fasting, right? People don't really know exactly what that is. So I think, talking about that today, you even talk about the water fast. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could ever do that, but maybe I might try it this time, right? Maybe I might actually try it, because you did it and you're still living. You're still here.
Yes.
But thank you so much. And everybody, please make sure that you follow her. She has some really dope content. She has some really dope merch, and then also, her juices. She has a lot of stuff going on. So you want to make sure that you support her. I've had her juices. I liked it. I need to actually go and pick up a case and bring it straight to my refrigerator. But yeah, if you guys are looking for healthy juices, she makes them, she ships them, she ships all over the world, right? Or is it? I know that at least the United States. Yes.
Yes. Furthest
All right,
is Italy, so I'm super happy about that.
Oh, wow. You hear
Yes.
that, people? All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight and for sharing your words of wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alrighty.
All right. So the time we are getting toward the end of the event. I know that people's attention spans, don't last too long, and we can tell by the dwindling of the viewers. So I have one more spoken word artist. We're gonna bring Lindo Yes back, and then we're gonna have some closing remarks. So Lindo, I'm bringing you back for your last piece.
Right. Thank you. I'm going to do this piece called Tough Love. I want to be black man, held in silence. Small spoon, soft body. I feel as though I am black man, holding in loudness, spoon fed that I need to be hard body. I feel like nobody when somebody kills my softness to be tough. Call it tough love. Tough love is being punched until you don't cry. And crying is the only thing that stops the punching from hurting as much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lindo. Such powerful words in such a small amount of time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I
Okay.
appreciate y'all.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to bring you to the back, and then I'm going to give these final words. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I said we were going to end around 9:30, so it looks like I'm making good on my word. So thank you again, everyone, for tuning in to another Black Ivy Media virtual event. I know that outside is open, and some of you guys have asked, are we going to do some outdoor events? We're based in Brooklyn, New York. We are going to have 2 more events for the summer that are going to be outdoors. The first one is our second annual Poetry in the Park. So last summer during the height of COVID, we went to Prospect Park and we did, we had poetry under a tree. So this year we're going to make it a little bit bigger, and we're going to do Poetry in the Park, second annual. And it's slated, the date is to be announced, but we're looking more towards August 7th, which is the Saturday. So if you are in the New York City area or nearby and you want to, come through, definitely, follow us at Black Ivy Media on Instagram primarily, because that's where we normally live. And you'll be able to see any upcoming posts with regards to that. If you want to take a flight from South Africa to New York and definitely do that. We would love to have you. And then in September, we're going to have our second annual Rooftop Vibe, which is an open mic night. Last year, it was amazing. We're going to be showcasing some of the content from last year so you guys can see what's going on. We do a lot of spoken word type of events. Namely because, poetry, although I am not a self-proclaimed poet, it's been part of my life since I was a kid. My mom, I think, tried to live vicariously through me. And she always had me performing poems in French in church, and wherever she can get a crowd, she had me reciting poems at a young age. And then I used to write a lot more so, from elementary school, even up until recently. It's just that I don't perform as much. I like to kind of keep it to myself, but I am a blogger. I'm getting back to my blogging, so a lot of my poems are on my blog site. But either way, we're going to be doing a lot more spoken word, because it again, it's a vehicle in which we can really move the movement forward. We could move the culture forward. And the next one we're thinking about doing virtual in the next couple of months. The theme is going to be around Black joy, because I think as Black people, although we have a lot that we're going through, sometimes it's good to have a little joy in our lives. So we want to make sure that we can stick to that theme. So again, thank you everyone for being part of this event, all of the presenters, all of the spoken word artists, all of the motivational speakers, and our resident singer. So happy that you guys were part of this event. Please be sure to tag your friends in this live so that they can watch the replay. And with that being said, everyone, have a good night. And remember, again, follow us on social media so that you guys can be in the know with all of the amazing things that we are doing. Thank you again, everyone, and have a good night.